It's time once again to go racing.
The pressure is really on now.
And it's pole position.
And it's pedal to the metal. Go, go, go!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL Season 29. This is the PSGL PSF2 tier, and we head to the home of British Motorsport for round 6 of the championship. It is the British Grand Prix. My name is Jess, and joining me, as per usual, we got Owen Wyatt. How you doing?
Hello, Jess. Hello, viewers. Welcome to Silverstone. Looking forward to another race in what's becoming quite an entertaining championship.
Yes, this is a track which has been held annually since 1950, and it's hosted nearly every race of the Formula 1 World Championship. Spa and Monaco being one of those tracks, which is also in the F1 calendar for a bit as well. And we see Valtters, who won a race last week, once again, the only driver to get 3 wins this season, multiple wins this season, and he's looking like he's a favourite at the moment, but don't count out some other drivers that could still be in this as well. But Valtters, He's probably going to have a bottle in order for him to lose this one towards the end of the season. But for now, let's see what the drivers can handle with.
Well, look, we know anything can happen, especially with the state of the game these days. So we'll see what comes the driver's way. And we've already got a few cars coming out on track. I'm saying it's quite dull. I hope it isn't going to rain at the end of this qualifying session, because this is a lap which requires actually quite a lot of skill, this one, because there's a lot of corners which can insta-spin the car, and it is quite a difficult lap. So I'm hoping to stage drive, because these should be some quite good laps.
Yes, and to be honest, it is a track where it has changeable conditions quite a lot as well. There was a few seasons in both F1 and F2 for the last few seasons where it's pretty much rained and had changeable conditions. Season 26, I remember, Rafa was, I think, a god in the wet conditions, and he went on to win the race around here as well. Interestingly, that everybody, apart from, I think, Izzy, who's reserve driver for tonight, is on the medium, so please don't tell me it's going to be a wet race, because it's not going to be the best if it's going to be a full wet race, because usually 70% of the lap is taken at full throttle, but we could see drivers be on for the best lap of their lives here, as Silverstone is an iconic track. Some of the drivers love it, some of the drivers hate it. I kind of like it as a commentator, hate it as a driver as well, but some of these drivers, in particular some who yet to score points, like Rizza, for example, who got pole last week, got very unlucky with the safety car, which put him out in contention. This is a race where he needs to perform, because otherwise the rest of his season is probably going to go downhill, I think.
Yeah, the consistency, we said it already, haven't we, about the consistency. We've got to make sure they keep it, because it can go bad as soon as we've seen it can go all the time wrong. We saw the consistency pay off last season as well, with the no wins to a championship. So yeah, you can't let it drop, because you will fall away from it. As we see the first laps, there's yellow flags already. What's happening there? Is that just people coming out of the pits?
I think I saw McLaren, letting people out the way. I'm not entirely sure. Yes, it is a McLaren as well. And it was moving out the way, and there's another McLaren on the lap as well. So we're riding on board with Suku at the moment, who is in the Alpine car, who is looking to pretty much climb up his way through the championship, because last season he finished runner-up by 1 point. He just missed out on the championship. He's currently sitting in a dismal, well, he is alright 7th place, but I know he had one aim this season, and that is to win the thing, and he's not nowhere near that at the moment. He did, I believe, get a podium last week, so he's back to, well, no, he didn't get a podium last week. That was Brock, his Shizuka Patra. He got 2 points, and then he got a fastest lap point for finishing outside the top 10 with the fastest lap anyway. his lap's looking quite good through Stowe now as he heads towards that. Be careful you don't go too wide on the left-hand side because A, you could get invalidated, and B, you'll probably go into a spin there. Past Vale into Club now. Final corner he goes, and what lap times are going to be? 1:26.2. That is the benchmark time for everybody to reach at the moment. I think we got a Haas coming across the line as well. That is Izzy with a 1:27.5 on the medium compounder tyre.
Yeah, so the first lap's then on the board. Gill's are second place. We'll see how everyone else is getting on. Quite easy to invalidate your lap around here, so it's important to make sure you got at least some bankers in just in case it goes wrong later on. And especially with how easy it is to spin as well, you really do want to make sure you have a strong banker as well. As Daniel goes up to P1 for Ferrari, you can see some people like Kazizel and Ash Best have had bad first laps and are having bad second laps. In Ash Best's case, it is a very difficult track this. As we see a few more heading round. Deso there has gone up to P5. We've got the other Haas starting a lap or starting his second lap. It would have been enough for P2s. Valtteri goes up to P1 now. And, well, we keep saying this about Haas, don't we? About how they've been incapable of scoring points and finishing races. They've really got to do that tonight because their season is falling apart and they could be worried about dropping down a tier if they don't end up with any points because they've got the pace, but they don't show it. They will end up looking down because we're not very close to the end of the season, but it is going to be that point now where some people will be thinking, right, where are these drivers going to be next season?
Yeah, even though it's early in the season to think about it, some drivers will be thinking about it now. And if they know that an F1 promotion is on the line, they've got to probably score higher points if they want to do that. Valtteri is definitely looking like he's going to get F1 at the moment. Some people would prefer to actually stay where they are. And Haas is the only team to not score any points this season. Every other team has scored points. Constructors are looking like this. Aston Martin, after their win last week, still maintain their lead in the Constructors on 67 points. Mercedes in second on 56. Ferrari in third with 46. Alfa Romeo fourth on 34. McLaren fifth on 32. Sit Alpine on 20. Then we've got Williams and Red Bull joint 7th on 18. 9th is AlphaTauri on 16. And like I said earlier, Haas yet to score with Valentin and Kareem. And they're both last in the standings as well, even after all the reserves. So that is saying something. And don't forget, Valentin has got pole this season, but not many people have converted poles to wins, and he just invalidated his lap. So his session has not got really to a good start either. So I think that's everybody that's done their banker laps at the moment. Brock, Baraka and Valentin, the only drivers yet to set a lap time. And usually the banker laps are quite key. And if we have a feeling that it's going to rain towards the end of qualifying, these banker laps could definitely set the tone for the whole of qualifying, because it could increase your confidence if you're like, hang on a minute, this could be quite a good lap, I can find a few more attempts. But if you set a poor banker lap, then you realise you lose your confidence, you lose motivation, and you're going to probably lose a few more attempts on your next lap as well. So it is very, very important. But it's great to see the top, I would say the top 14 quite close together, all in the 126s. And we got Kazizel that's currently fastest with a 1:26.1 at the moment. He's on 2 lap old softs though. Hopefully he's not going to use it in the race, and I assume he'll be setting a faster lap time anyway later on in the session.
Well, that's the hope, isn't it? But you just never know with this track. Like I say, it's so difficult. But it's good to see the field so close early on. So they must all be probably thinking the same thing, that they really do have to get the laps in early. You don't tend to see it this close, this early in a session, especially with this grid. And we always have a few on the mediums, as you said. Only what, one of them went out on the mediums earlier on. It was Isu in the Haas. That could be a sign of weather to come, possibly in the race. Last thing we want is a wet race here, because a wet race here you might as well not watch, to be honest with you. But dry race is certainly good, because the way the ERS is in this game, you should be able to make use of these DRS zones a lot more. So even if you have a bad quality, if it's a dry race, you should be alright. But the way these guys are driving, I do have that sort of sinking feeling. But we'll see as get a few more out on out laps. Deso, is he on a quick lap? He's not got much ERS to finish it if it is on a quick lap. I don't think it is. Is it? He might actually be up in the first sector.
He is running out of fuel though, so he may be going into the pits.
Yeah,
so,
he's running out of everything.
Yeah, but he's running out of Xander fuel at the moment, going towards Cops Corner, so that might be it at the moment as well. And especially since the fuel mode is quite difficult on this game, I wonder why he put less fuel in the car. But he's been on 3-lap-old softs, and he's still about 5/10 off of P1, which is not too bad. Yep, he's invalidated anyway. He just cut the corner, so he's no longer on a lap. I think Izzy was on a lap, who's invalidated. Ash Best is going through the Wellington straight. I wonder if anyone else is third on a lap. It could be Suku, actually. No.
Skill on one?
Gil might...
He's heading to Cops.
Yeah, Gil's past Woodcote now, heading towards Cops Corner. A driver who has been known to do quite well on this track, but there's some seasons where it's been hit or miss for him, but he hasn't really climbed up to the top of the championship than he would have hoped. But it is a no assist here. He's still getting used to, obviously, no assist at all, but he has won 2 or 3 races in PSGL last season in F2, which really impressed me. I think France was his home track as well, and at Zandvoort last season. Didn't quite get the win in Zandvoort this season, though. Heading past Stowe. Doesn't look like it's a perfect lap, but I think he's going to get higher than P15, I think. We'll see. I didn't see what his sector 2 split was either. Final corner, he goes in the Williams, and he is in the top 10. They have to start on the tyres they set the fastest lap on if they qualify there. That is where he is at the moment. We've got, I think, 2 McLarens finishing off there. Well, we've got Fabi that just finished his lap. So did Ash Best. Actually, no, they're starting their lap. Well, Fabi's starting their lap. Ash Best just finished his lap.
He was on for a decent lap in the Alpine, but unfortunately he's lost it on the exit of Stowe. It's deceptively easy to lose it there, actually. It's one of the many places, like turn 1 as well. You could spin it, Cops, you could spin it. Happens quite a lot, but sadly, Suko, he does seem to have some good pace, but he needs to not do that on the later laps. I do want to keep Brendan's point home because it is a track that I may or may not have some grudge against, but yeah, it does happen quite a lot. So that's happened to Suko there, and a lot of other drivers are struggling. We've seen Valters as well. He's on his lap and he's all over the back end. This could be a day, if you just get the proper clean lap in at the end, it could be enough.
Yeah, it could be more than enough to get pole position. And where did that lap time come from?
I have no idea. I've disconnected, by the way. I'm just talking in case I haven't, and in case it's Jess, but I've lost all sound and all everything, and I'm not being interrupted, so I'd assume it's my fault.
And I think we just seen Cornet set a lap time with a 1:26.0. Where did that time come from at the moment? And I'm just trying to see if my Discord is playing up. Just give me a moment. I think it's his sound. It's not me, because my Discord is picking up pretty much everything at the moment. But Daniel at the moment is heading towards Stowe to finish off his lap in the Ferrari. Scored some decent points this season. Another driver that did not benefit from the safety car, and he was one of those retirements too. And he's running out of fuel, so I think he's not going to have time to go into the pits to set one final lap. So here he comes, 1:26.1. He slots himself into P4, the top 4, separated by just 0.8 of a second. And then we got Fabi 1/10 of a second. They're just all so close to top 8, top 9 and top 10. It only takes one small mistake to actually ruin your lap. And we got Brock, who I think's no, he's not improving as he's going into the pits. Anybody else improving on their lap times? I think we got I think it was Cornet on another lap, or he may be going to the pits as well. Yes, he is going into the pits. Valters is also going into the pit lane as well. So yeah, for most people it's done, apart from Simo, who has invalidated also. So Simo's got a lot of work to do, but at least he set a lap. Valentin, only driver yet to set a lap time though, so I'm guessing he's not too happy with the conditions on track. And there's also a yellow flag in sector 3 with the McLaren, who I think is just letting people out the way. Yeah, that is Fabi that moves out the way. So while we're having a bit of a moment in qualifying, we will take this opportunity to talk through the standings, or the driver's standings. I did talk about the constructors a moment ago, but I will now talk through the drivers. So we've got, let me have a look, there we go. So we've got Bouters in P1 on 53 points. Second is Baraka, who's currently lower down in the field in 18th. He's on the medium compounded tyres at the moment. That is intriguing. I thought he would have gone on the softs, but I guess he's keen. He's going to the pits though, because it all goes fastest again, almost into the 125s. But I did say that qualifying was going to get interesting as I was talking about the standings, typical. So Baraka in second on 34. 1 point below him is Kazizol in third on 33. Then we got Fabi in fourth, Cornet in fifth, Rot in sixth, Suko in seventh, Netsky in eighth, Hadler ninth. Then we got Daniel, Gil, Benny, Dezo, Simo, CC Brain, Louis, Luca, who's a reserve. Then we got Ashbest, Izu, Recon, Rizza, and then we got the two Hasses in last place, the only two yet to score. And Owen, can you hear me again?
Yes, I can. My microphone is broken. I'm going to kill someone. I've had just the most stressful week. This is just the last minute, but hopefully I've got it fixed now. I'll rage afterwards, but this is just the last Fininator, but hopefully you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's
right,
all good. I was a bit worried, and you probably couldn't hear me for a minute as well. But we're all good now. So we're heading towards the end of qualifying. Suku comes across the line. He improves to P2. So if he wants to climb his way up the championship, that is a lap that he is looking for. And that's everybody that's finished a lap in this part of qualifying before we head to the final part. Apart from Izu, who's just going past Abby and into Farm Curve right now. Haas don't score points for Izu as a reserve. It's only if you're full-time. So the only person that'll be scoring points for Haas is Valentin, who's currently in the pits. But I'm sure Izu wants to prove himself and become a full-time driver, as some of these drivers do. But he has attended most races this season, so if he has a good race, then he should be fine. But he's not going to like that he's invalidated his lap just now, is he? So he's going through to the Wellington Straight. He may go out for one more lap, but his tyres may not look good if he qualifies inside the top 10. So we'll see.
Yeah, he really does need a lap here, doesn't he? And does his teammate. We know, I said already, that Valentin's got the pace, but he's currently finding himself right at the back. And, well, it could all be about that last run. It's going to be a really close run. I mean, you can see for the whole field as well that the top 5, separated by under a tenth of a second, as they're all on outlaps. I wonder who the first one to start a final lap is actually going to be. Is that Suka on an in lap? He might not have much time there if he's on an in lap to do another try. Is he on an lap? So he might.
No, he's going to the pits.
Yeah, he might be stuck with that time unless we have a timing glitch. Because I'd be very surprised if he's misjudged how long he has. Because you'd want to be out there on the final run, but he's on his way in the pits. No, he is out of time, so I wonder if he's misjudged that, or if he's just happy with the lap. But the rest of them are out there and starting laps, and Ash Best is the first one to do so. Now, we've seen this before, where people have started a last lap early, and then have been able to abandon it if they wanted to try again at the end. But we'll see how they all go. Ash Best, obviously, 6/10 off P1. Not much improvement is needed to find himself flying up the table. And the same can be said for a lot of other drivers as well. As we lose Desso from the session. Is he in the pits as well? Yes, he is.
Yeah, so I think he was either happy with his lap, or again, he was like Suku and didn't find enough time to go out again. Or there might be a situation, we've seen that in a few races in other leagues as well, where the timer is a minute ahead for us, and that means the drivers are probably like behind or something like that, and it's quite confusing at times, and it may just be drivers loading into the lobby a little bit slower than us as spectators. But Ash Best, he actually scored some points last week after some stewards inquiry, so he was bumped up into, I think it was 9th or 10th place, so some good points on the board for McLaren. Probably not what he was expecting, but I'm sure he will take any points nonetheless. So Ash Best, I think, is going to be one of the first drivers to set is one of his final laps, and if he gets this one right, he'll probably abandon it. We got Ferrari on a lap as well, or an out lap, might be Kazizel or Daniel, but we'll keep an eye on that as it continues. So Ash Best comes across the line, 1:26.2, which puts him in P10, and it is Kazizel that's about to start his final lap. So yes, final part of qualifying, calm before the storm. Can anyone knock this guy in the Ferrari off a pole position? Well, we'll find out in the next, minute or two.
Yeah, so we're already seeing this then, where drivers are actually backing off on their first attempt. One driver who isn't doing that, though, as the checker flag comes out, he hasn't got time to, is Valters. And as it stands, he's on a lap good enough to get into the 125s, and he has done. So Valters sets the benchmark, 1 minute 25.997. Next car coming across the line, Recon, who's gone across in P11. We think we've got another driver, possibly Cohen, yeah? as he comes round the final corner. He's also good. He's extended that benchmark time.
Ooh.
And now Valentine, he needs a lap. And he's got one, P2. Decent stuff from him there. CC Brain next now, but he is unfortunately invalidated. It would have been a decent enough time to get him a little bit further up into 12th place, but not with the invalidation. Baraka not making a big improvement. He's underperforming really for his standards, unfortunately. He sits in P16. Next up is Daniel, and he hasn't found any improvement at the end of his lap. Cornet is invalid, so he's not going to find any improvement. Brock is also invalid, so he won't find anything either. Kazizel, though, what a lap he's on. Can he convert this? And he'll be on pole by well over a 10th, but he's lost it! And that has cost him pole position because he would have had it. And he knows it. He probably let the pressure get to him. What a shame there to see Kazizel with a superb lap going down the drain, but it's still a front row as it stands, so not all is lost. They won't need to worry about punctures with that debris there, so they should all be fine. Gill finds an improvement but doesn't end up moving up any positions. Hadler's in the pit lane, I think Fabi is as well.
That's
and
it,
unless
I think.
Ace is on a lap, which he's not, then that would mean that Cohen for Williams is on pole position tonight. Good stuff from him.
His first race as a reserve driver in quite a long time as well, so good to have him back at PSGL and on debut, getting pole, but that doesn't necessarily mean you win the race. I think the only person that got the win from pole, I believe it's Val. Actually, no one's got the win from pole this season. It's like a curse, so when you start on pole, the race just goes, you either lose the win, or it just goes downhill. But for Curran sake, he's probably going to be the first person to convert his pole into a win and get some decent points on the board. So I was not expecting that from Curran earlier on. That was brilliant stuff for the Williams driver, and I'm sure this will give him a lot of confidence going into the race, starting crucially where he is. Look at that top four though, 7-100s. That is even closer than earlier on in the session.
Yeah, top quality stuff from these guys. It always amazes me how close the grid is around here. But it always shows just how good they are at setting these grids. And yeah, plenty of competitive times. Hopefully it's a dry race to see these guys race in action, because we should get some pretty good action with the ERS. This always used to be one of the tracks where ERS was such a nightmare. And now they've got a real chance to race because ERS is a lot more lenient. But yeah, Shizou then, 1-2, and then Valentine with that one lap at the end. That's all he needed, luckily. But yeah, he needs to finish the race. That's a major priority for Haas, because it's yet to happen.
For Valentine especially, because reserves don't score points, Izzu, he wants to finish the race for his personal glory. For Valentine, he's doing it for the Haas team, and Gunther Steiner is probably putting all his eggs on Valentine right now to perform. Like we said earlier, he has the pace to win a race, he has the pace to get podiums, he just can't afford to bin it, and he has to keep consistent throughout the whole race as well and not get involved in too many incidents which costed him a retirement. I think he's retired in every single race so far, and that's not what we want to see at the moment. And we want to see him get a point on the board. We would like to see tonight, obviously apart from Kareem, who's not here tonight, every single driver get on the points board in this championship, because I hate seeing people on 0 points. It's not really a good thing. So we'll see what Valentine can do as well. A few people got their first points last week, so I wonder if things can change on that front. It is going to be an easy one-stop race for these guys, soft to mediums or mediums to softs. I don't think people are going to touch the hards really, unless they get damage on lap 1. Because if they do, they can pretty much go into the pit and they will make it until the end of the race.
Alright then, so, as Jess says, no one anywhere near the hards. The grid, Cohen, Kazizel, Valentine, Valter, Suko, Cornet, Daniel, Fabi, Hadler and Brock, all on the soft compound tires that they qualified on. And outside top 10, Ash Best, Recon, Simo, CC Brain, Gill, all on mediums. Baraka, only driver outside the top 10 on softs. Then the rest, Benny, Deso, Risa and Isu, are also on the mediums. And well, we're seeing quite, 6 different teams in the top 6. So there should be plenty of room for no mucking about. They're all going to have to race for their own team here tonight. No team is to mess it up for others, because we've seen sometimes they can play some games. And will we see a pole sitter finally win a race? It is such a rare occurrence in this game, because for some reason, they just don't get off the line. And you're flat out all the way to turn 3. So if the pole sitter does not get a run, then you're certainly going to see someone else leading this race into turn 3. I wouldn't be at all surprised because it's a decent braking zone to have it go as well.
Yes, and usually if you're starting either 3rd or 4th, you usually get a good start off the line in these races. And watch out for Valentine and watch out for Valton into turn 1, because if they have a good start and get off the line, I'm almost certain they're going to overtake the 2 Shizou boys. But Kazizel knows he's going to have a bit of turn slipstream. He can get off Cohen as well, so Cohen must be under huge pressure. He probably wasn't expecting this. He was probably expecting mid-pat, maybe top 6, top 7 potentially. So this is new territory for him, especially with a no assist here as well. So this will be the first time we've seen him pretty much on a pole position in a pretty much a high tier league. So we'll see what he could do, see what Kazizel could do. Kazizel yet to win a race, and he's catching up to the likes of Valtis in the championship. He needs to really start picking up wins if he wants to challenge him, because otherwise Valtis could be walking away with it.
So, EC then, parking it up on the grid, the last car to do so. And like I say, it's a long run down to the first Britons at turn 3. But a tricky turn 1. We've said it already today, that the cars can spin through there if they aren't careful. But when these lights go out, we'll see how they all handle it. It is Cohen and Kazizel on the front row. And we are away here in Silverstone. Looks like a decent start from the front row. They should be alright, but let's see if Kazizel can get into the toe. Valter's also challenging the Haas, and we've already got a few cars off track. It's about getting back on, that's the main thing. And can they all do it without having any contact? It looks like Cohen still holds the lead, and Valter's and Valentine are still fighting away for that last podium position. Hopefully they don't have any contact. It's too early to have many accidents. You can't win the race on that one. But Valters has made 3rd place. And there's another car off the track, and that is the Alfa Romeo of Risa. There's no walls in that immediate vicinity, so he shouldn't have any issues there coming back on. Still a bit more fighting in the midfield. And we can see a few cars side by side. Brock and Daniel. I think Daniel, one of the cars that was off the track at turn 1, but he made it back on okay. I don't think there's anyone who's had any major damage either. But Cohen, from the lead, has held it.
I think one of the first drivers this season to hold the lead when he actually made the run down into turn 1 when he started from the lead. So incredible stuff as well. We got Fabi that's just made the move into Cops Corner. 2 McLarens are having a stonking start working together as well. So we've got 2 McLarens in the top 10. When was the last time we've seen this in F2? Not by a long shot. So these 2, I think, will be using a little bit of slipstream in the race, which you are allowed to do. You're not allowed to use it in qualifying, but you are allowed to work together in the race as well. Handler made up a bit of ground as well. Daniel's lost quite a few positions actually, as he's been overtaken by Simmer as well, and he's going to go into the pit. I do believe it's for damage, and technically he could go into the pits for the hards now and make it to the end, or he could go onto the mediums and then on the softs in the end, providing that there could be a late safety car. We'll have to wait and see. No safety cars at the moment though, and still the top 3 running in tandem. Can't tell where everybody else is in terms of Dell because the timings are messed up on my screen, but all we do know is the top 2 remain exactly as they are as well. Valentine is definitely losing a bit of ground now. I think Cornet's going to get him soon, so Valentine, like I said, needs to pick up the pace because he's always going for the race lead on Cohen then into Brooklands, and that was nicely controlled from him, but we can see Cohen might do the switch back in into Woodcote. No, he's not going to, so Kazizel, the one who's challenging Valdes for the title, is going to be the one that will score decent points if he can keep this up, is your race leader.
Well, it would be a tall surprise if you see Valtters also passing Cohen in the near future, but the DRS will get involved on the next lap and we'll see how that goes, because Kazizel obviously did that, not using too much ERS on what will be a DRS straight on the next lap. So that might give you an idea of what the racing might be like today. It could be back and forth stuff, but there was so much fighting in midfield in lap 1 as well. It was quite extraordinary how not a single serious accident happened there. They were all very well behaved and it was entertaining to watch as well, so good stuff from them. Hopefully we see that throughout the race as well. And shame to see Daniel falling so far down. He's on the mediums and I guess he's just going to be hoping for that safety car to come for him later on. But Kazizel went fastest lap of the race. He'll be trying to break out that DRS gap. Recon also now into the pit lane for Alpine. I'd be surprised if Kazizel can make this gap though, because the detection point, as we see, is Fabi out of the race.
Where's
the detection point.
Safe to PSC.
Yeah, turn 2, so potentially someone's going on at turn 1. It's continuing on to turn 2. What I was going to say is that the detection point for the DRS is actually on the run into the braking zone at turn 3, so it's really hard to brake out of that particular zone, because if you want DRS, you can just brake that a little bit later. Even if you go a bit wide in the corner, you can still get the DRS to catch that time back up, and so it's a tricky one to get away from. However, if Kazizel can nail this restart, then he will have a chance here to break that DRS. So Cohen has got to be on the money, as has Kazizel, because there's a real chance that DRS could be broken. You can see Kazizel's a long way ahead. He's clearly a bit ahead on the Delta, and he'll have to back that off. So it's all about judging this restart correctly. Look out for the virtual safety car signs to disappear, and when they do, this race will be back underway. And luckily we're on a DRS straight for Kazizel. He won't have to worry about defending anything from. Still VSC. If it stays up long enough, someone might even consider making a pit stop. You never know. Let's see. As they head through towards Stowe, still under VSC. And anyone gonna go for the pit lane? Nope. Not at this occasion, because we have gone green. And well, Cohen, he wasn't ready for it. Valtters absolutely was. And well, I said someone had to be on the money, and Cohen was one of those people. He should have listened to me. But Valtters wasn't on the money either, because he's now binned it. And he might hit the wall. He does avoid it. Perhaps got a bit too overexcited by making that great move. It was on Cohen, and now Valentine's side by side with the Williams. So he just can't catch a break, and that will be well clear DRS now for Kazizel, as these guys go wheel to wheel and definitely made some contact in turn 3. Corner might have a little look on the inside as well. Valtter's all the way down in 17th place now, but there was no damage to his Aston Martin. It was simply just a slide off the road, and it looks like Cohen has some decent straight line speed. Can Corner now get by Valentine, who didn't try to take much of advantage on the DRS straight? He's certainly going round the outside. Fruica, can he get this one done? There's more wheel-to-wheel contact, and again, as they head towards Copse Corner, I'd be very surprised if Cornet doesn't give this one up and just waits for the DRS on the next straight, which he does. He's got his teammate behind. He's not going to go for anything silly on his own teammate. But Valentine then, I'm not too convinced on his pace there. I'm surprised he didn't try and keep up with Cohen a bit more and just avoid the risk from the Mercedes. Will Cornet try and get through now? Ash Best, by the way, highest runner on the medium tyres. He'll be very happy to have seen the accidents happening around him so far. But Cornet is indeed trying to have a go on Valentine, but he's just not close enough into Stowe Corner. He does actually push him through. Look at that, they're making contact all the way through the corner. I have a feeling the Haas is going to maybe fall back a bit, but at least he's still in the running, Jess.
Yep, he is. And we got 2 Mercedes in at the top 5. Something that you probably expect in real life as well, with Cornet and Brock working together. And at the moment, Valentine still in the podium positions, but it's not where you start. It's not where you are in the middle of the race. It's where you finish. So Valentine cannot drop back. He knows that the 2 Mercedes are catching. Almost a bit of a slide from Valentine there. Brock, one of the highest gainers so far in this race. He's gained 5 positions, as well as Dezo, who's currently in 13th. Izzo gained the most out of everybody today. He's gained 6 places, but obviously the biggest losers, Valters dropped down 13, Daniel dropped down 12, and Recon dropped down 6. And we got Cohen and Suko that dropped down 1. We got Ash Best and Simo, they've gained 4, as well as CC Brain as well. Gil's gained 3, and Ash Best, he's so on fire.
Fast. There's damage to Suko.
Where was this pace from the start of the season? He's showing that he is loving this track. He's done well in the past, and it's going to be 3 wide into Cops. Oh my God, into Marriott now. Someone has to back out, surely. We got Haller leading this train right now. He must be under huge pressure. We got CC Brain as well, also in this fight, that will be ready to pick up the pieces. But we got Suka on Baraka. Baraka just edged in there. We're starting to see battling left, right and centre. This is a huge DRS train from, I would say, Ash Best onwards to P11. And Rizza is out of the race.
We're still off. There's 3 or 4 of them off here. All on the straight. Risa definitely out. Benny was also off. Hadler saw that situation happening and went straight for the pit lane. Suka with the front wing damage. He now gets a chance to replace that without losing much. But they were colliding on the straight there. That was bizarre stuff. I wonder what caused that. If there was someone else having a slow moment, I'm sure there'll be some questions about that in the steward as well, because it's so uncommon for cars to just go flying off on the straight. But that's exactly what's just happened. And Risa, the unfortunate driver, to be taken out of that race. But Benny, he'll be thanking his lucky stars he's in the pit lane right now and not also find himself stuck in the wall, because that was a big old hit for him as well. And this, it does give a huge opportunity now to Hadler, because he will surely get a real chance to win this race, because look at this. The safety car has picked up Cazizzo on this first lap. Sometimes they get to go the whole way round and make their pit stop, but not this time.
Yeah, because the safety car pretty much was ready to go, and I can't remember where the leaders were when the safety car came out as well, so they didn't have an opportunity to pit. They definitely were past the pit stops, and I think Hadler, Deso, Suko, Valters will be back in this race too. You know, everyone I would say from P11 downwards is probably glad this safety car came out. Everybody else, from I would say P1 all the way down to P10, they're probably thinking, uh-oh, I don't have a free pit stop anymore. I'm stuck behind a safety car. So maybe they would all pit together, but they're going to lose so much track position. So, you know, it's going to all go downhill. And it's going to be another race where the person starting on pole position is not going to win. You just can't take a break in this league. And that's what makes it so interesting. So will any of the top 9 or top 10 go into the pits now for a change? Well, I don't think any of the medium runners would, because they could only go on the hards. And I wouldn't really want to be going on the hards. You can't really go on the soft, to be honest. As we got Kazizzle comes in. I think pretty much most people are going into the pits now.
Oh, that's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Kazizzle got disqualified.
I'm sick of this game, people, honestly. I know George had his moment the other week, and you know what? I can't blame him, because this is ridiculous. He's just pitting! He's just pitting, Codemasters! Sorry, it's been inside for a long time, but he's just pitting.
Yeah, that is a glitch.
This could ruin his championship. This could ruin his championship. It could ruin his championship. Awful. This isn't a small situation, you know. These people are trying to get up to esports, etc. And their way to doing that is getting out to the PSGL F1. And if you lose your championship due to stupid glitches, then what are you meant to do about that? Because the results will show at the end of the day, DSQ. And we'll move on from this in 4 weeks, and no one's going to remember how this happened. And it'll cost him. It's not fair on them. It's not fair. It's actually not fair. It's not fair on the drivers. Sorry, it's not fair.
No, you have the right to rage on it. I didn't think Kazizzle should have got a DSQ, because he just went into the pits and he was going at a pit lane speed limiter. I don't know. So I think we found another glitch, people, that we need to report. But, you know, that is a shame, because Kazizzle was looking so good for the race victory. He was on fire today in the race, and it's just ruined, unfortunately. And
you know what he's done? He's passed the safety car going into the pit lane. That's what he's done. He's overtaken the safety car coming into the pit lane. How is that allowed to happen? How is that allowed to happen, Jess?
I don't know. I'm not the one that developed this game.
We've had issues after issues after issues. I know we've been told to keep quiet on it. I know we've been told to behave ourselves, right? But I can't when it's costing people championships. Because this is a real chance for Kazizzle today. I know he was going to fall behind anyway, but it's not fair, is it? It's not fair. I apologise. I do apologise, but I'm sure you can probably understand, from our point of view, how annoying this is when stuff like this happens week in, week out. But anyway, Ash Best, who would have thought he'd be leading the race? I'm sure he didn't. He's now going to have to try and be the only driver to make a late pit stop on the main strategy anyway, because he was going to go from mediums to softs anyway, and he's going to have to try and lead this from the front now. Hadler is effectively the leader, though. If he can get by quick enough as well to not involve Deso, then it'll be looking good for him. But as we get underway once again, Ash Best officially leads a lap.
Yeah, and his restart was all right so far as well. And we got Suku as well on the back of Deso as well, on the fresher medium tyres and the softer tyres as well. And he's going to go for a move past the farm curb now as well. And Valves is looking like to capitalise that on as well. As we head towards Wellington Straight, it could be 3 abreast here. Valters has to stay back, surely, so otherwise it could be a recipe for disaster, as he's almost slid a little bit there. Everybody was saving their ERS for this moment, because the safety car was only in for about 1 or 2 laps, as Valters could not get past these two. We got Cohen that's making his way up the field. He could still be winning a shot now. He's up into 7th place. Benny is up into 8th place. Valentine not able to get past Benny, even though he's on the softer tyres then. And I don't think he's going to get past Cops either, even though he's got the ERS on Overtail. We got Valters that gets past Deso. It's only about a 5/10 difference between the mediums and the hards. So it's quite a bit different around here, especially when they're following cars like that. But yes, we got Valtis's gained a bit. Izzy's gained quite a bit as well on the restart. Same with Cohen, but it's Ash Best that still leads. But like we said, yet to make a pit stop, but he's already pulling away and almost breaking the DRS range, but not quite yet though.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, Ash Best, because eventually later on in the race he'll have much better tyres than these guys, and he should be able to make something out of it as Cohen goes past Isu then into the Vale chicane. Decent move that, really committed on the brakes, and just about kept it within the limits of the track as well. Might have disadvantaged Isu though, because he's now going to have Benny and his teammate Valentin on the back of him. No DRS for another lap, remember, so even though Hadler's right up close to Ash Best, there may not be an overtake just yet, as Benny dives down the inside of Isu, but gets it a bit wrong, and Valentin has a real chance to get through him now. Will he hit his teammate? Yes, he will! Oh, not the way you want to be getting your points, lads, and that's going to let the Mercedes a corner through as well. Like I say, no DRS though for him to get by Benny. Can he still close in though as he heads through? I'd be surprised if he can get through, but he is on the better tyres actually, isn't he, on the mediums. So he does get through corner, and he's really gained out of that, but the two Haas colliding. They just want to finish a race, but they can't seem to do it without having some sort of problems. But, oh, and now he's in the wall, and that could be out of the race with a collision with Recon, and I think Gale might have been involved, or was it a Red Bull or Simo? I think it's Simo. Safety car again, because Simo's got no front wing.
That's Dash Best Bacon.
All gone down now. Well, has it though, because he doesn't get a chance to pull away now. Ooh. And it's going to pack the train up. Yes, he can come back to the rear of the train, but he wants to be pitting for the softs later on. Too early to do that at this stage. But, yeah, he was looking for that not to happen.
Yes, the only option he would have had is the hards, and he wouldn't be on the hards. It's so much lower than the softs as well, so he has no choice but to stay out. Yes, he stays out again as well. And there's some drivers that are not hoping for this safety car to happen, which did happen as well. That could have been race over, Valentin. I don't know how he's still in this race. He survived that. Benny's in the pits as well. He wants to get rid of those hards and potentially go on to mediums, I'm guessing. Valentin has no option to go on the hards, I think, because that's the only tyres he has left, because otherwise he's going to be on a broken front wing. I wonder if he's had any other damage which is not repairable, I wonder. I can't see from his car, but what does it take for Haas to finish this race in F2? I don't know how. It's like we're seeing what's happening in real life at the moment. Simo's got front wing damage. He goes in on some mediums. Gil, I think, has got damage as well. He's on mediums. Benny's on mediums as well. And I think so the only people on hard is Izu and Deso, who has stayed out. CC Brain, though, he's on soft. These are not going to make it to the end, so you have to stop one more time.
We got more penalties. Now, this happened to Shane the other day as well. It's a glitch that's been coming back into the game, which shouldn't be there. I'm not going to say anything on this one, though. I've had enough of my raging today. Do you get a wee flashback of old me there? I'm feeling a bit of PTSD from it now, I can't lie. It felt a bit good to let it out, though, I can't lie. I've let it out now. I've let it out.
But, I think you feel a lot better from that, don't you?
I actually don't. That's the worst thing. I don't feel worse. I feel worse.
Oh.
But at least I let it out. I'll watch it back later and I'll be embarrassed at myself. But frankly, I just feel sorry for Kazizel. I still feel really sorry for Kazizel. Yeah. He's done nothing wrong. Not only was he screwed over by the safety car, but then he got disqualified for trying to pit. Poor guy.
He's very annoyed in the chat as well. He just came in the chat saying, this game is ridiculous. I just don't understand anymore. And if that race decides a championship for him, I don't know what to say, to be honest. But I'm going to talk about nothing about that anymore, as I think we're just waiting for Simo and Valentin to catch up as well. So we'll look at positions gained again, as Deso and Izu has gained the most 13. We won't talk about Ash Best because he's still yet to box. I'm seeing if anyone else needs to box. No, it is just Ash Best. Valentin and Simo, Gil and Benny and Daniel, they've made one stop more than they were intended to. They made 2 stops. Daniel could still get points though, even though he's made 2 stops. Oh, Valentin's got damage again. And it makes another race where full-time Haas driver is not going to score any points. So that means once again, Haas will be on 0 points.
Well, at least they've still got a car to finish a race. I mean,
even though it won't count. Even though it won't count.
Yeah. I just want to see a Haas car see the checkered flag, to be honest, Jess. I don't really care if it counts for him. They need to. It's been so long now. I've been waiting all year for it to happen. And Valentin, we didn't really see much of his accident, but he was in the middle of a Red Bull and someone else, and it was a bit of a messy coming together. And there was a bit of a free car incident. Who was the other one? Was it Benny? And it was just sort of being squeezed. I don't know if the Red Bull tried to stick his nose through the middle and it caused them both to spin into each other. Either way, I think he got a bit unlucky, Valentine. I mean, he'd had contact with his teammate on the same lap. It was a bit of a nightmare for him, and then it ended in an accident. But, well, we keep saying it. There's always next week, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always next week. We said that about many races for Riz and Recon, for example, and then something like this happens again. So, you know, they can't give up, but there's some races where they do practice and something bad happens to them, and you got to prepare for these incidents sometimes as well, but you can't predict that it's going to happen. You always predict that you're going to potentially do well, as I think the safety car will be coming in this lap, maybe. Yes, it is coming in this lap. The safety car light is off, and once again, Ash Best will be leading a few laps, and I still can't believe he's doing it. I think it's going to be a miracle if he scores points, but with quite a lot of drivers retiring and making mistakes, he can still do it, and it could be the race where he gets his second lot of points of the season. But he's heading towards Stone now, and he's going to be holding the rest of the field up and making sure that he nails his restart. Let's see if he does it.
Well, he's got Hadler all over him, and Hadler, he has Suko all over him, and so he can't really sit back assuming that Ash Best will eventually get out of his way. But he does have... Oh, he's nearly lost it like his teammate did. And Suko, we've got to really be looking at Suko for a chance at the win, because Ash Best, yes, he'll move out of the way, but Hadler can't just sit back and let this happen, because he's certainly going to have Suko and definitely his title contending teammate behind as well. Valtters, I mean, we thought at the start of this race, he was losing major points in the championship. This could be an even bigger advantage by the end of this one. It could almost decide, really, where this championship ends up.
Yeah, it could be, to be honest, and we could see a situation for the first time in F2 history where the championship could be decided a few races early, because the last few seasons it was decided either the penultimate race or the final race like last season, but we wanted to go down to the wire, so hopefully more people would have a chance of getting wins and maybe more than one race win. It has to happen so far. Valt's a few tenths off of Suka at the moment. Let me just get the tyres up again so you can see how the length of tyres. Most people have been on for about 4 or 5 laps already in this race. CC Brain will need to pit again. I want to be struggling for grip at the moment on these softs, but at the moment he could get past Baraka. I think being on those softs now, you've got to make some overtakes. If you don't make your overtakes, the tyre temperatures are going to be through the roof. Dirty air is going to be a problem as well, but we can see Baraka, who's looking very close to the back of Izu. He's going to go to the right-hand side into Stone, maybe. No, Izu closes the door there. He just got... I thought he goes a little bit wide there, but he closed the door once more into Val. Could he have another look there? Nope, he does not, but I have to say Baraka doing a pretty decent job so far, but not where he wants to be. But he's gained quite a lot of position on this race. Another driver that's benefited from the safety car, and CC Brain was, I think, a few hundreds behind Baraka again, but past the Hamilton straight, he couldn't quite do it either. Ash Best almost out of their DRS to Hadler. CC Brain could go for a move on the Alfa Romeo. Again, Baraka with his defensive work masterclass. CC Brain stays behind. This is not what he wants on those softs.
Yeah, he's got to get some moves done now, because he's losing out, because he'll be slower towards the end of this race compared to the others around him, as Cornet picks up a penalty. Both Mercedes now rocking some penalties, so they'll need to try and make something up, because they're currently running in 11th and 10th places. There's someone else who sort of got disadvantaged by that safety car at the start of the race, and it's seemingly not going too well for them after the safety car either. But we see Suko still looking good on Hadler, actually, because Hadler isn't really closing on to Ash Best as much as you'd expect him, and you can see Hadler also getting a bit onto the grass as he heads through Chapel. No DRS until the start of the next lap, of course, but further back, Baraka now trying to get through EC. CC Brain will be watching this intently, maybe trying to cut to the inside line, but Baraka's already trying to do that, but hasn't quite had a good enough exit. And they'll go side by side possibly, and CC Brain, he could have had a go there, but decided not to.
And I think Izzy take advantage of that, as DRS is enabled then, but I think Izzy has DRS of Desert as well. So, and we got another yellow flag. That is Gill. That's for tyres in the Hamilton straight. Are we going to see a safety car? I don't think so. It's hard to tell well, he crashed in the final corner, but it's hard to tell where at the start-finish straight he's crashed. He's definitely not in the pit lane. And I think we have no safety car, but we got the two Mercedes fighting on the Wellington straight. Cornet just gets past, and I think that's going to be do or die for these two. But here comes Daniel, because Izzle's teammate. Daniel gets past. Can Brock get the switch back? Oh, this is nail-biting stuff. They're both trying to leave as much space as they can then, heading into Woodcote Corner, but Daniel has the edge one place more and he'll get in the points. He's got no penalties right now, so if he can keep within Cornet within 3 seconds, Daniel could be on to be scoring a point, which is better than nothing, I have to say, for him after the race he has had so far. And he's still in range of CC Brain, Baraka and Izu, I think, as well. So still winning that train. So we have a train up until 6th place, and then we have a train from P7 to P12, and then we just have for actually P7 to P14 actually, because we got Brock, Benny and Simo also in that train. So they're all pretty much even on pace at the moment.
Feels like we're seeing a little bit of a waiting game here then, as Hadler continues to close steadily on Ash Best. He's got to pick the right moment to overtake. I'm sure he will eventually try and pass, because he can't afford to let Suko even have a sniff of a chance, because Suko badly wants this victory. And he's already setting to move up, isn't he, the Alpine man? Can he even have a go on the Wellington straight? Let's see how aggressive Hadler's going to be at trying to get Ash Best. He's not using his ERS much. Gives Suko a chance, but he's not using his ERS either. Both Suko and Valters have more ERS than Hadler, so they are seemingly playing the long game. I feel they're stronger than Hadler, as Baraka gets through east, so he could join this train soon as well. And yeah, Ash Best, he's liking this because the train is starting to break away, because Baraka, Isu, they've sort of been fighting away, and CC Brain as well, as making a somewhat of a gap. It's just a little bit less for him to make up at the end. Did Corner have some sort of incident, by the way? Yes, he did. He's going to have to pit with that front wing damage. I hope it wasn't with his teammate. I know they were very close on track, but that'll be into the pits for him. He'll be looking for a safety car to try and get him back into the running. But let's see then. A bit of a longer straight this time as we head towards Stowe. And Hadler on the Heiner straight, still not able to make the move, but he certainly closes up enough so that he doesn't get under any pressure from Suko. But this top 5 is as close as ever. And Cohen, well, he'll maybe feel a little bit hard done that he's not up at the front here. And he might want to try and get himself back into the net race lead, because he was certainly on for, what, 2nd place before the first safety car came out. So he'll know he's got the pace for it. And obviously he was our pole sitter as well. And CC's Brain goes side by side with Isu. That's contact. Be careful you don't have an accident. And they're still going for it. CC Brain not really making these soft tyres work as well as you would have hoped. Oh, and that's definitely an accident. And you know what? Stewart will look at that, because he's turned left into a right-hander multiple times.
You don't do that. You do not do that.
I'm not one for anger management advice, but you don't do that. No, it's not going to help you in the stewards room after the race. So I don't know if there's any sort of baggage that CC Brain was trying to get over with, but that's not going to help Haas to finish this race, is it?
No
one wants Haas to finish the race.
We want Izu to score points, but at the moment he's not going to score any points. And CC Brain, well, he will have to pit anyway, and he's going to lose a chunk of time. And I think the only driver he's going to be fighting with is Cornet. So I wonder if he's got some soft saves at the end, or I wonder if he's got some medium compounded tyres. And I'm sure Ash Best will be loving a few people struggling at the moment, because he could still be on the chance of points even without doing too much as well. Suko, could this be his best opportunity of the race to get past Hadler? Maybe not. And I think Valds as well. We've got 2 Aston Martins in the top 4 at the moment, so this could be really good points for them in the constructors. And I think I thought we had 2 Williams, obviously we have 1 Williams out of the race. And we also got, I'm just trying to see, there's not many teams that have 2 teams in the top 10, because they have either retired or they're outside the top 10. Daniel, I can see, is pushing right now. He's saying fast lap out of the fastest lap. He's up into 8th place now due to the contact that other people that CC Brain and Cornet and Izu have been having. So Daniel could be on course for another P7, but penalties could mean anything. I think there's a few people on a few warnings down. 1 warning, don't forget, they do get a 3-second time penalty, which will get added to the end of the race. Baraka could get Deso hit. Again, not quite close enough, but Cohen's gone a little bit wide then, so this could be Deso's chance. Baraka could have a backseat look into this as well. He's sitting very tentatively right now on the back of these two, so I don't think he's going to go for the move, surely. Oh, there's a bit of contact, I think, from Cohen and Baraka. That could have ended Cohen's race, but I think Baraka's going to try for a move into Cops. Surely not. I think he's got it. Oh, Cohen's got damage.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the pole sitter, again, has bad luck, just like last week.
That's unfortunate for him. It wasn't even that big of a contact, but it must have been enough just to do even some light damage on the Wayne is enough. As Daniel now has contact with Baraka, and he's been sent off the track as well. That could be damage too, and they're still side by side, and they're still wheelbound into the Vale chicane. All this is helping Deso, who could be on for somewhat of a really good result, because obviously those mediums, they should be okay at the end, but Deso's tyres definitely will be good at the end.
Yeah, they could last 25 laps around this track, the hard tyres, and to be honest, the advantage of Deso at the moment, he could push for pretty much the whole race, whereas the ones on the mediums, they got to be well, they got to be careful with their tyre temperatures, and they got to manage their tyre wear effectively as well. Cohen comes in for damage. He's still in this race, and he's onto the soft tyres. I wonder if he's going to have a comeback, or he's just going to settle for 11th place. What a shame for him so far, but I think we got Brock who could go for a move on Daniel, as I think there's more risk being taken towards the end of the race. We have about 9 or 8 laps to go. I think we could see another move, and I think Daniel's struggling with the damage he's got. It may just be more than front wing damage. I think it may be either floor or side pod damage that he's got, because Simo's and Benny has got past him as well.
Yeah, that's another car we're seeing dropping out. The more who have issues like this, the more cars that Ash Best is going to be ahead of. And when he finally pits, Suko has another little look, but doesn't quite decide to make the overtake yet. Ash Best still staying on. I guess Suko might even just be waiting until Hadler's no longer receiving DRS, so that he can just blast past and not look back. But he does look good here. He does look good. And yeah. Valters might actually be doing the same thing, in fairness. But any one of these sort of top 6, maybe if Ash Best gets another safety car to help him out, I don't know, maybe he can't quite win it because there's not enough laps to catch up. Although, what did he start on, Ash Best? He's definitely on the same tyre he started on, so yeah, he's not going to the end, is he? As Brock tries to get past Baraka, fails in that task, but oh, look at Valters. Is he going to go for it? No, that was as close as I've seen him get so far. But really, anyone from Hadler down to Baraka, I'd say, have a chance. Even Benny, or even Simo. Depends what Deso does. If Deso ends up getting some pace and gets involved and they start fighting, you never know. You never know. Stuff could happen.
We've seen surprises. We've seen surprises in F2 last season and this season, so we could see surprises in this race as well. We could even see Deso take the race victory here for all we know, if he keeps his tyres into good nick, which he is at the moment on the hard tyres. And if Hadler wins this race, this will be his first win, or his second win in PSGL, but his first win since Baku last season, and that's what's helped him stay in the championship fight. He missed the last race though, so that's why.
Possible safety car. Cohen. Yeah, just okay there. I was worried he was going to get T-boned there, but that was an inevitable collision. So the guys at the back, they're still fighting for whatever they can, and there's more collisions. Simo. As we see the Vale chicane, Simo and Baraka going for it, and that's a bit tight in there. Luckily, Baraka's seen that Simo's still there and left enough space. But we're now on to lap 20, just 6 to go. Ash Best has to pit at some point, and he will end up coming back out in what, P9, and he can probably set a fastest lap when he does pit. So it's not a disaster actually for him in the end.
He can still get points. He can still get points. So I'm looking at the gap. I'm looking at the gap between Daniel and Simo. That's about 35 seconds, and the pit lane lost time around here is around about 28.5 seconds. So Ash Best could be on for another point scoring finish for him, which I did predict after his good start early on in the race. And to be honest, I may be right, you know. I'm not going to say too much because there's probably Ash Best fans that are probably going to be screaming at me, but the mediums only last 19 laps, and we have already done pretty much 19 laps. So Ash Best ideally needs to come into the pits now, because his tyres are definitely not optimum pace. Hadler could get him, and Ash Best does not need to fight him here because he knows it's not for position. The game will disqualify Ash Best anyway if he doesn't pit, but we'll see if Hadler could gain the toe from Ash Best, which he does not. I don't think Haller's going to fight anyway because he knows that Ashbest will still need to pit. As Brock gets past Desert up into P5, and I believe it's Ashbest going into the pits. Nope, he's staying out again.
Benny's not going through on Deso as well, so perhaps the tyres don't quite have the pace at the moment. And I guess Ashbest is proving that the mediums will get to the end now in decent shape, so Deso maybe won't gain much advantage. We'll see if he can still stay in the points, so he should be alright for that. But maybe not the higher results that we were maybe hoping he could get. And he was up in, what, 5th and 6th place, so it was looking okay for him. He might still get some points, I'm sure he'll take it. Conan and Daniel are still fighting out there. They were certainly going for earlier on, and that's how Cohen got turned around. But still up at the front. They're just waiting for Ashbest to pit. He'll probably try and leave it. I'd say it could go up to 24, you know. Ashbest.
I think 24. He can because he's got nothing to lose. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be not. I think he's gonna be not. Yeah, he's gonna be 9th no matter what. So why not? So and then go for fastest lap.
Go as long as you can. Do a quality lap at the end. The issue is he hasn't got much ERS, of course, but he has some time to save that if he wants to. He doesn't have to keep these guys behind him the whole time. But let's see if Hadler fancies him this time. I think he does. He's starting to see how many laps are left, and Ashbest, well, he is defending it. So Suko might seize a chance here, as Hadler does, though, make the move, and Ashbest will now get out of their way. And so it's Hadler now who leads the race with no DRS to defend from Suko, but it is a handy Aston Martin sandwich, so still a chance for them to finish 1-2 potentially. But I think Suko might have a good chance here.
I think if you have the DRS and the tow around Silverstone, that could be a recipe for you to succeed rather than failure for Suko as well. And he hasn't won since last season, so this could be the race where he does win, and he could climb up. I think he was 7th in the standings after the last race, so he could jump quite a few positions due to that, due to the championship being so close as well. Simmer has got past his teammate Deso as well, and I think he's going to get swamped by Baraka as well sooner, you know, because Baraka's gaining a lot of pace on those medium tyres as well. And the conditions have been pretty much stable for the whole race. It has been clear. There's no clouds or anything. It's just been clear. So the track temperature has pretty been much the same. It's been quite hot. And imagine what it was a few months ago in real life. It's probably the same track temperatures as that. So I think Suko's first chance of getting a move on Haller is now. He saved a lot of VRS, so this could be his breakthrough. Haller's got to go defensive here, and he does. So Suko will have to wait, I think, either a few more corners or another lap to get past him. Because I think Stowe is pretty much the main opportunity for you to get the move, and the Wellington Straight as well. So I think that's what Suko's going to do, and I think Valters will know that if Suko doesn't get the move, I think Valters will jump at that. And I think the one driver that's out is flying under the radar right now. Benny, after all the luck he's been getting, he's up to 4th place.
Yeah, look at his tyres. He's got by far the best tyres out of these top 4, and he's setting his personal best laps. So if these guys fight too much, he'll be right in this. And we've seen Benny, always someone who's there at the end of the race, no matter how bad it's gone for him. It's gone quite well today, actually, considering everything that's happened to him. And, well, this could be his chance to really reap some rewards if these three fight too much. I do wonder if Hadler might start trying to back Suko up into his teammate. He'll want a 1-2, be thinking perhaps about his teammate's championship as well. He'll be looking for places to try and slow Suko down, and you can see what it's doing to the gap, because Benny is still catching. He's dragging along Brock and Simo as well, and Death, so it could bring all this pack together in the last couple of laps. And, well, who's going to be able to make what moves when?
Yes, let us know in the chat, who do you think is going to win the race? Like we said, I think it could be anyone in the top 7. I don't think it could be Baraka anymore. He's 3 seconds behind, and he's lost a bit of ground to everybody else. But I think anyone from P7 upwards will still be realistically with a chance. And Valters was close enough to Suko that lap as well. I wonder if they're playing team games at the moment. And I know Valters loves taking risks in this league. That's why he's leading the championship, because risks is rewards for the Aston Martin driver as well. And Aston Martin are looking to continue their lead that they've been having in the constructors for so long now. Simmer has a penalty. That could mean that Deso could get P6 away from him. at the moment. I think that's Simo's first penalty, actually. But I think the train's going to grow and grow and grow now. Benny's winning DRS of this lot now.
Yep, he's really doing a good job at the minute, but he has used a lot of VRS. Hadler's starting to use a little bit more as well. I think Is Suko waiting to go for it on the last lap? Perhaps. We'll see. If he can stay close enough, he can probably actually blow his ERS in the last 2 laps if he wants to. So we'll see what the plan is there. Valtters, I'm sure, will probably be aware of what Suko's trying to do. And we've seen how close the top 3 got in the last lap. They were all within 0.2 of a second. That's from first to third. So is Valtters going to try? Suko's they're all looking. Risky places to look though. They've got to be careful they don't actually spook the other driver into maybe causing an accident. But will Suko start feeling the pressure? I'm sure he'll look behind him and see quite the train, and I think he has realised this, so he's going to now go by Hadler. This gives Hadler a chance to save the ERS, which is why he's not defending too much, because it is his own teammate behind him. Not the end of the world if those two are beside each other. I'm sure they aren't going to take each other out. And now it's Suko who's going to have to worry about the attack from behind as Cohen falls even further. He's had a spin on the exit of Woodcut, so that's not really going too well for him. But Suko, well, look at this. He's not got much straight line speed on that main straight, and he has used a bit of ERS as well now. And Hadler does look okay, and now he's going to be the one who might be going for that last lap lunge.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Hadler knows that he's going to have the advantage compared to Suko, so that's why he lets Suko pass. But I wonder if it's too little too late at the moment, because Suko could use the chance to break out of the DRS, but Hadler's gained a bit on the Wellington straight. But I think I would, if I was him, I wouldn't go for the move now. I would wait until pretty much Stowe to get the opportunity at the moment as well. We got Benny that could get past Valtters, Brock in this as well, but Brock's got a penalty. Same with Simo, so no matter what happens, Benny will get top 4 as Cohen is out of the race. And he's retired in the pit lane, I think. Yes, he has. So that's his race over. Too late for a safety car, of course, because there's no way a safety car would basically end the race. It doesn't happen on this game. So but here comes Hadler then. Penultimate chance to take the race lead here and potentially the race victory. And he's gained about 2 tenths on that middle sector then compared to his last lap. So and Suko again defends very nicely indeed. And Hadler's starting to run out of time here.
I think Hadler might have just realised that as well, because he did try and catch up there to Suko, and well, he's got more ERS, and well, he's going to have a whole lap now to blow it. And I do wonder if Hadler might have realised, oh, he's quite quick. So is he going to try and pass him then, or is he going to try and let his teammate go through? Cohen, what's his car doing there? Who knows? It's the best guess. Leave it in the comments. But he's now tried to get involved in the fight. Has that given Suko DRS? No, I know he's not. He's a retired car, so luckily it hasn't given DRS, because that would have been quite underwhelming, wouldn't it? But Suko still being caught up. Still got the advantage on ERS though. Brock is now going through on Benny, who's going to fight back. Remember, Brock has got a penalty, so Benny doesn't have to fight him too hard, because he'll still get 4th place. All it does is it sort of stops him from directly challenging for 3rd place. Or 2nd or 1st, but it depends what these guys do, because it's going to be 2 Aston Martins fighting Suko. I'm sure Valtters will be fighting for the championship, so he will be just probably happy enough to take the points advantage that he will get over Kazizel, because of course his disqualification early in the race was a massive gain. But Hadler, he might just be in this for the race win, and he's closing on Suko, but has he got enough time to pull a move as he goes to the outside of Stowe corner? Right around he goes. I think he's a little too wide though, and that should have Suko in the clear unless Hadler puts a proper dive on him. I don't think he'd risk that though. So as Suko comes through the last 2 corners, he had enough ERS to defend. He's used it effectively. Will those Aston Martin swap places? Who knows? As Suko crosses the line, he wins the race. Hadler does stay ahead of his teammate then, and Benny does move up to 4th place. Desso and Simo for Red Bull, 5th and 6th, decent for them. Brock comes home in 7th after his penalty. Baraka, I don't know if he had any floor damage on him, but he really fell off the pace towards the end of that race. I'm not really too sure why. I wonder if he either knows as well. Ash Betts will come home in 9th. Well, Daniel has this point regardless. He just needs to make sure he doesn't crash. They're just in it for the fun of it. It's a bit like Bottas and Vettel. This is a bit of a pointless fight. But I think it's going to be Daniel who wins out on track. And he wins out on the penalty as well. Haas are going to finish a race. Here comes Isu. He's finally seeing the checkered flag. good stuff for him. And then CC Bryn might have actually had a collision with him earlier. I'm not too sure. He was facing backwards at one point near the end, but he's going to come through in a battered and bruised AlphaTauri to come home and finish in 13th place.
Well, we had a lot of battles this race, didn't we? And a safety car kind of ruined some people's chances of a race victory today, but that means a few more people had a chance of winning, which is what we like to see. And Benny getting driver of the day. Benny definitely one of my driver of the day. He's definitely up there by avoiding the carnage and helping him get up to where he is. But this time, he didn't have a bad start and a good finish. He's had a good start and a good finish. So could this be next week? Maybe he can have maybe a much better qualifying. He can challenge for the win. Who knows? But it is so good. It takes his first win in quite a while. And, you know, he won a few times last season, which helped him be runner-up. He just missed out, obviously, on the championship. But that means I think the championship fight is still very much alive for the Alpine driver. And that's what we like to see from last season's runner-up.
So the results then. Suko does take the victory here in Silverstone. From Hadler, Valters, Benny, Desso, Simo, Brock, Baraka, Ash Best and Daniel. Fastest lap went to Cornet in the end, so that was a shame for Ash Best. I thought he might have had a chance at it, but he didn't quite get it. He was 11th for Cornet, and Isu was 13th, or 12th, sorry. CC Brain was 13th. Then the retirements, Cohen, who still gets classified but didn't finish the race. Gil, Valentine, Recon, Kazizel, Reset and Fabi. And that is where we stand. And, well, Valters will be loving every second of that for the championship because, unfortunately, out of Kazizel's control, it's a loss of points today. And, well, it's a real shame to see that happen. Like I say, we want to bring you a good championship. And when the game screws us over like this, there's 10,000 of you who come here every week to watch his races. And I know there's been constant issues. So we can only apologise for it, and I can only apologise for having a go at the game, but I'm sure you probably can't blame me, but it's happening too much now, Codemasters, and I think you need to realise that a lot of people care about this game. We wouldn't get this angry if we didn't want the game to succeed, because a lot of people here who genuinely love this game, and as, you know, one of those people, I just wish that we could come here every week and not have to worry about issues. I swear, there's no other online game like this, and you know, I hear F7 had issues as well. Obviously, we know what happened in the PC tier a couple of weeks ago. I just want a working game, you know?
We just want no glitches.
Hopefully we can get that soon. But the more I save this game, the more I question why it even exists, you know? This game has been a shambles from day one. We all celebrate Portugal being in the game, but really, what was it even doing being so late? Where is Imola? I just want a game that we can play and not have any issues with. Maybe that's too much to ask. I don't know how it is for Codemasters. I'm not a developer, I don't know what it is, but when a lot of drivers put a lot of time into this, they deserve to be rewarded for it and not have it taken away. That's my piece on it anyway.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully, well, at least that bug will be reported to Codemasters because something has to be done with it. I think it's the first time I've seen that bug in a while, but ran toe for me anyway. I think we are in Austria next week for round number 7, which it is the shortest lap on the calendar. One of my favourite tracks to commentate on this game. Should be a lot of fun. Valters is usually good on this track as well. Suku's good as well. We could see another close fight. I think we could see the closest qualifying that we've seen in a long time due to the fact that the times are so close to the 1 minute range. But we don't know what the lap times are going to be due to the performance patch. But we are at Austria next week anyway. And maybe we could see some rain, maybe not. This is the first time in the world that we've hardly saw any rain affected at all, so I wonder if we could see it affected this week. Will Kazizel go back fighting? Well, he needs to, really. I'm sure he'll be even hungrier for the race victory now next week with the issues he had this week, which is out of his control.
Sure enough, if that happened to me, I'd be coming back with a proper vengeance. We know what pace he's got. We know how consistent he's been as well. He deserves to be rewarded for it, so I do hope he comes back strong next week, because it would be a massive shame if we look at this race at the end of the season and think, well, where did the championship go wrong?
Yes, and I think we got China. I think after Austria as the final race in September. Now, then that'll be pretty much it. Then I don't think we have anybody waiting in the interview box, so we are going to wrap the stream up. Make sure you watch the PSF1 stream, which is also around Silverstone. They're approaching the end of their qualifying as well. I think we also have F5, F6 and F8 on it as well, so check those out as well. And then we're going to be starting off Austria on Wednesday with the PC tiers, F2, F3 and F4 with PC, F1 on Thursday, and then we've got the lower PS tiers as well. Sunday we've got the middle PS tiers, and then obviously we got us on Monday at 7 o'clock, and obviously F1 at 8 o'clock as well around Austria. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully less glitches next week, please. Fingers crossed. I'm actually touching wood here. Me and Owen will be here at the same time next week. We hope you all have a good rest of your evening. Safe travels, everybody, and goodbye.